Hello again and welcome everyone. For those of you who don't know me, my name is Juniper. Oops. My name is Juniper. I'm the managing producer for Feldenkrais Access, and I am so excited to be here with you for Defying Gravity. This is the first class of the series. And if you haven't yet registered for the series, Ira is going to post a link into the chat window so that you can easily navigate to it. This class series is with David Zemach-Bersin. Many of you know that already. I'm sure all of you know that. We are also joined today by Roz Ori, a Feldenkrais practitioner and an assistant teacher for this program. He's in Tel Aviv. And we are joined by Anastasi Siotis, who is a Feldenkrais trainer candidate, and he is in Crete, and he's also an assistant teacher for this program. I think I said Roz is a Feldenkrais practitioner. He's a Feldenkrais trainer. And Peggy Honig, who's a Feldenkrais assistant trainer and an assistant teacher for this program, and she is in Silver Spring, Maryland. The three of them are here to help you if you have any confusion throughout the course of the lesson today. And you can reach them by typing into the chat window, or if you're joining us from Facebook or YouTube, you can type into the comment section of those platforms and we will answer your question as soon as possible. We're also joined today by Ira Feinstein, who's the managing director of Feldenkrais Access. And if you have any questions about the program, about Feldenkrais Access, or about Zoom or the other platform you're joining us from, you can direct your questions to him. You can also at any time just type in a question into chat to anyone, or to everyone rather, and we will answer your question. It is very important if you have any confusion or discomfort that you do reach out to us, because we want very much to help you. And we are also joined today by Kim Greenberg, who's a Feldenkrais practitioner in Nashville, Tennessee. And she will be doing the lesson in sitting. So if you need to do the lesson in sitting rather than lying on the floor, I will be spotlighting her periodically when David gives a new instruction. If you need a visual reference of how to do the lesson in sitting, you can follow along with her in that way. And please let me know if you want to see her more often. You can send me a message in chat. And we also have a team of Feldenkrais practitioners who will be doing the lesson along with you as instructed, who will also be periodically spotlit. Just to say that if you're joining us on Zoom and you don't wish to be seen, please turn your camera off by pressing the stop video function in Zoom, rather than directing your camera away from you or covering it up. And if you do wish to be seen, it's very helpful for David to have that visual feedback so that he can direct his instructions to you directly. And that's it from me, so I will hand you over to David.
Thank you, Juniper, and hello. And welcome to everyone. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, depending, of course, on where you are in the world. I'm honored to be with you, and I'm very excited to share what I feel are the amazing benefits of the Feldenkrais method with you. This, as Juniper said, is an introductory class for Defying Gravity, a 7-class series of Feldenkrais lessons that I've created and organized to improve the length, the flexibility, and the health of your spine. Our spine is composed of 26 individual bones called vertebrae. Each pair has a spongy-like disc between them, and our spine serves a number of really very essential functions for us. It's our central support structure. It connects the upper part of your body with the lower part. Our spine protects our spinal cord. A well-organized spine acts as a very important shock absorber, protecting our brain, protecting us in general from the compression that we experience from gravity pushing down on us and from our movements. Lastly, but no less important, the way that our vertebrae interconnect with each other is exactly what allows for the extraordinary freedom of movement that each of us has. But I would propose to you that nearly every one of us has a spine which is unnecessarily compressed and poorly organized, or less well organized than it can be. Of course, the older we are, the more compressed, the more shortened our spine becomes. Those who are blessed to reach the age of 70, the studies have shown that on average, a person who's 70 years of age has lost 1 to 3 inches or 2 to 7 centimeters in height. And this loss of height reflects that compression and loss of length in our spine chiefly. This combination of compression and less than ideal alignment compromises our freedom of movement. It makes us much more vulnerable, unnecessarily vulnerable to all sorts of injuries, pain, back pain, neck pain, scoliosis, kyphosis, referred pain down our legs, uneven wear and tear in our hip joints, really just about anything that physically troubles us is affected profoundly by the alignment and the length of our spine. Now, the good news and the very good news is that we're all, every one of us, capable of regaining much of that lost length, and we're each capable of improving the alignment, the organization of our spine. We're all capable of reducing this detrimental compression. And when we do, you find that logically much of what ails us also disappears. We feel taller, we feel lighter, you feel more flexible, you have less pain, and all of our movement becomes easier. So this is my promise to you. Each lesson that we do in this series will effectively elongate your spine, and I believe you'll feel the difference with just this first lesson that we'll do today. All you need to do is follow my directions and sense and feel yourself. Each of us arrives here today with the capacity to improve, because you have the potential to improve, because each of you has an absolutely remarkable brain, a brain which has evolved over millions of years to change and learn new, better ways, no matter your age, of using yourself, of using your body in a better way. So let's get to the heart of what we're going to do today. We're going to do a lesson which is inspired by a lesson I did with Dr. Feldenkrais in Israel many years ago. So in general, you're not going to be looking at your screen. There'll be once or twice I'll ask you to look at me or somebody, one of the teachers assistants doing something. I'll be leading you verbally through the lesson. You'll be making just gentle movements. And as I said, focusing on your own experience, your own sensations. Now, if you do get lost at any point during the lesson or confused, have a question, feel any discomfort, feel free to use the chat function to ask a member of the staff a question. Maybe your question can just be answered by looking at the screen for a moment. You'll see that Juniper will highlight different people, volunteers, practitioner volunteers that I'm very grateful to doing the lesson. So anybody that's highlighted, again, is a member of the staff. If you're joining us from Facebook or YouTube, I think you need to use the comments function to reach us. If you're on Zoom, you just need to use the chat function. We're going to do today's lesson primarily lying on our back on the floor. So you can use a pad, a rug, anything you have to make yourself more comfortable. If you can't lie on the floor in any way comfortably, you can do the lesson lying flat on your bed. Just remove pillows or anything else that might interfere with your movement. If lying on your back, even in your bed, is not comfortable at all, Kim Greenberg, one of the Feldenkrais teachers that Juniper just introduced you to, will be demonstrating how to adapt the lesson as best as possible, sitting in a chair. Now, before we start the lesson, just a few words about how to approach it. Feldenkrais lessons are completely unlike conventional exercise. The lessons work in an entirely different way. We're interested in primarily communicating with our brain. And so we call these lessons as opposed to exercises just to bring the accent to the fact that we're trying to learn, that we're engaging our brain in a way to learn something. You don't have to try to learn. You'll see that it will happen spontaneously rather than the movement itself being the important thing and that you should go as far as you can possibly go. Quite the contrary. So the lessons work by combining neurologically relevant movements with this process of paying attention to your own sensations. And in this way, you'll see that we will, each of you will successfully stimulate the inherent neuroplasticity of your brain. And the lessons you'll see will help you to benefit you by building new neurological connections. Just again, a few promise you last words. Please do all the movements slowly. Only do what is easy and comfortable. I urge you to avoid any pain or discomfort. So you make the movement smaller, slower. Should be able to be, it will be helpful to you. We pause, or we call it a rest between each movement. And anyway, I'll be reminding you frequently about these ideas as we go along. But again, if you have some kind of history of pain or discomfort, I urge you to do whatever you need to do to take care of yourself and to avoid any pain. If you need to make the movement 1/10 of what you would like, that you'll feel the results of the lesson much more profoundly than if you strain and feel uncomfortable. And one last word, just remember the Feldenkrais method is not a medical approach. I'm not a physician. If you have pain while doing the lesson, I think that's a signal to see your medical practitioner. So before we lie on our back, I'd like you to come to standing. And I would just like to, as many of you know, Dr. Feldenkrais was a scientist, and scientists are interested in measuring, in empiricism, meaning knowing if what we're doing is having a beneficial effect, making a change, I should say. So just stand for a moment, and all I'd like you to do is very casually, very simply, as you know yourself, turn a little bit to the left. Just what's easy. You turn to the left and you just measure where you can see on the wall. So it's not a stretch, and you don't strain. You just turn to the left and see, where do you see on the wall? That's all. That's right. And if you stay there and just draw an imaginary line from your nose to the wall and say, okay, that's where I turn to the left. And now do the same thing turning to the right. You just turn easily. That's right. Okay, that's good enough. As long as you measure and you remember where you're standing, we'll come back to it after we've done the lesson, and we'll see if there's any perceptible difference. All right, so please find a comfortable place to lie where you won't be encumbered by anything to your left or your right, above you or below you. And before we begin the lesson proper, just put your hands on your lower abdomen, and please just observe the movement of your lower abdomen as you inhale, simply, easily. But again, not in a contrived sort of way. I'm sure many of you have taken, this breathing method or that breathing method. So now we're just interested in how the feeling of the movement of your abdomen as you inhale in a, what should we call it, a naturalistic way. And just observe the contact of your pelvis with the floor, the back of your pelvis. Is one side of your pelvis feel to you to be wider or narrower? Does one side of your pelvis feel to be more in contact or less in contact with the floor? And now slowly observe the contact of your lower back with the floor, but not changing anything, just observing. without judging yourself or evaluating yourself. You just want to sense and feel how we're lying on the floor now, so that we can each be a good scientist and see at the end if something is different. And now slowly move your attention up your spine, just observing how parts of your spine are very clearly not in contact with the floor, and other parts of your spine are very much in contact with the floor. You come to the middle of your back, and there you can feel certain parts of your spine are very clearly pressing toward the floor. Then you go a little higher up and you feel that your spine begins to move away from the floor until you come to your lower part of your neck and you feel, oh, there, my spine is not touching the floor. Kind of similar to the way my lower back was a little bit away from the floor. And again, return to your breathing, to that movement of your lower abdomen. Just again, not trying to change it. We're not trying to change anything throughout the entire lesson that we're going to do today. It's a remarkable idea. And maybe we'll talk a little bit about it, but you're not trying to change anything. And then, of course, there's the back of your head. And just observe the contact of the back of your head. If one side of the back of your head feels more in contact or less in contact with the floor, in other words, that reflects that my head is turned a little bit to the right or to the left. And still, I'd ask you to bring your attention back to your lower abdomen. Why? Because for many of us, just the act of paying attention to ourselves affects our breathing. For many of us, we inhibit our breathing. We stop our breathing when we direct our attention inwardly. So just see if your breathing can be simple and continuous. And at the same time, you can feel the contact of your right shoulder blade with the floor. And your left shoulder blade. That's right. Good. Now, slowly, please bend one knee and stand one foot, and then bend your other knee and stand that foot. And that you have your feet separated about shoulder width apart. And now put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee. The outside of your right ankle on your left knee. If that is an uncomfortable movement for you to do, then put your right foot back on the floor and you can follow the lesson, but just by just doing what we're doing, but without the outside of the ankle on the opposite knee. Now, slowly tilt your left knee a little bit to the right. Not too much, just a little bit. That's right. And come back. And you pause for a moment and then do the movement again. The idea of pausing is that we want to make each movement distinct, separate. It's not a matter of repeating a movement over and over again, but of our attention or our awareness being available. That's right. So you just tilt your left knee a little bit to the right, and then you come back. And as you do that movement slowly, feel where can you reduce the effort. Now, of course, that sounds like an ambiguous statement or question for you, but in fact, you'll feel that there's the effort, the unnecessary effort might be found most easily in your chest or in your shoulders. In other words, what does that mean? Where there's unnecessary effort, where you're doing work, muscular work, that you don't need to. In other words, rather than mobilizing ourselves maximally, we want to see how we can do the movement with the minimum amount of effort. So it's a very radical idea. That's right. Good. Now, please stand your right foot on the floor. And just observe. Did something change in the relationship of the left side of your lower back with the floor? Good. Now, put your left hand on your forehead and just very gently, your left hand is flat, your fingers are pointed to the right, and just slowly roll your head a little bit to the right using your left hand. That's right. And then come back to the middle. And now see if you can do that as you exhale. Just slowly. You see if you can roll your head a little bit to the right. And as soon as you feel any resistance in your neck, you stop and you come back. So we really only want to do the movement that is simple, easy, pleasurable, comfortable. That's right. And now put your left arm down and put your outside of your right ankle on your left knee again. And slowly allow your left knee to tilt and just observe. Does something feel, I don't know, a little lighter, a little easier? That's it. And now put your left hand on your forehead and just roll your head a little bit to the right as you tilt your left knee a little bit to the right. Don't go too far. It's not, the idea isn't to go as far as you can go. I know you can go further. You know you can go further. The idea is to feel where you can do less. Remember, are you exhaling as you do that? And your attention is not on to the exterior of the movement. You're not interested in how big a movement you make, but rather your attention is oriented internally. It's turning your attention inwardly and feeling where you can let go, where you can give up satisfying some other criteria by which you evaluate yourself moving. Good. Bring your left arm down and put your right foot on the floor and just, again, observe the left side of your lower back. The left side, the feeling of the left side of your face compared to the right. The left side of your neck compared to the right. And now put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. That's right. And again, just making a small movement of tilting your right knee to the left this time. Only what's easy, feeling where you can relax your stomach. That's it. Maybe you can relax your jaw a little bit and your mouth. That's right. It's extraordinary to think there's a connection, and there is indeed, between the unnecessary effort in your jaw and the movement in your right hip joint. That's it. Good. And please stop and put your left foot on the floor. Just observe now the contact of the right side of your lower back. Feel if something's changed. And put your right hand on your forehead. Your fingers pointed to the left. That's right. Your right hand flat rather than bent or curved. And just gently roll your head a small amount to the left. That's it. That's right. And the moment you feel the slightest resistance, you come back. That's the important thing. Every lesson we do kind of uses, well, we use many strategies, many mechanisms, but one is we make the movement easier by making it easier. So there's no need to stretch. There's no need to go as far as you can go. Just that small amount where you feel like, oh, that's nice. That's simple. And you'll see that's what facilitates the ability of your brain to use that available plasticity. All right, bring your right arm down. Put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. And now go ahead and tilt your right knee to the left. And just observe. Is that maybe a little easier or a little lighter? And what happens in that pressure that we felt at the very beginning of the back of your head against the floor? Can you feel that your head is actually turning a tiny bit? Maybe your eyes are following the movement of your left knee. Maybe. But the important thing is you just do what's easy and simple for you, not for somebody else. All right. Put your left foot on the floor, stretch out your legs one at a time, and just observe. Is there something already just 10 minutes into the lesson? Do you feel something's different in your contact with the floor? And now slowly bend one leg, stand a foot, bend your other leg, stand your foot. Good. And now slowly put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee. That's it. And now bring your left arm up on the floor so that your left arm is lying somewhere near your head. Your palm, the palm of your left hand is facing the ceiling. That's right. But your elbow, your left elbow is lying on the floor. Your left arm is comfortable. And now go ahead and tilt your left knee to the right again. Only what's easy. That's it. And feel maybe you can do something that will soften your chest. That's right. I shouldn't have said it like that, should I? Maybe you can do less of something and your chest will soften. Again, exhaling as you tilt. That's it. Now, can you feel that when you tilt your left knee to the right, feeling where you can reduce the effort slowly, that the left side of your chest gets a little longer? You feel that? You could say that the space between your ribs on your left side, that space increases. That's right. Beautiful. Now, put your right foot on the floor. Leave your left arm as it is. And just make a very small movement of elongating your left arm upwards, as if your fingers were going a little closer, just a centimeter or two toward the wall that's above your head. That's it. In other words, you lengthen your left arm a tiny bit, and you can feel, oh, that makes my chest, the left side of my chest, lengthen, elongate. Excellent. And now put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee. Good. And now see if you can combine those two movements we've just done, tilting your left knee to the right a little and elongating your left arm. Only what's easy, nothing that you would confuse with the category of stretching, but just You only elongate your arm what's comfortable. And so you might say, you might describe it as that you're getting longer from above and from below, right? Your left leg is tilting, and you can feel that that opens up the left side of your chest. And at the same time, you're elongating your left arm a tiny bit, and that opens up the left side of your chest. You could say that those two movements are somehow congruent. That's it. All right. And please stop. Bring your left arm down and bring your right foot to the floor. And again, just bring your attention. You can stretch out your legs if you like, and just bring your attention to the left side of yourself and feel. Does one leg feel longer than the other? And feel the left side of your lower back compared to the right side of your lower back. And remember, we began by sensing that movement of our lower abdomen. Good. Now, slowly again, you bend one knee, stand the foot, and then slowly bend your other leg. That's right. And now bring your right arm up on the floor, just where it can be comfortable. That's it. And put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. And just now slowly tilt. Tilt your right knee to the left. Not doing anything with your right arm. Feeling where you can relax your abdomen, your chest, your throat, your jaw. You do that. You just use your attention to move about yourself. Because the way that we have adapted to life, the extraneous effort that we carry with ourselves is individual, is in relationship to the experiences we've had and to our psychic emotional life. That's it. Stand your left foot on the floor. And now just slowly, only what's easy, lengthen your right arm upwards, not lifting it off the floor. No, you just do enough that you feel your arm gets straighter. That's it. And that you can feel how the right side of your chest is getting wider. That's it. Just what's easy. And now put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. And slowly combine those two movements. You feel you tilt your right knee to the left, and at the same time, that's it. At the same time, you lengthen your right arm as if your right hand or your right elbow and your right knee were going away from each other. And in fact, that is what's happening. As you tilt your right knee to the left, your pelvis, the right side of your pelvis is moving away from the lower ribs on your right side. And when you lengthen your right arm, just what's easy, those lower ribs are moving away from the right side of your pelvis. But again, the movement is not the important thing. Feeling where you can do less is the important thing. Where you can use less effort, less desire, less intention. That's it. Beautiful. Please stop and just stand your left foot and then stretch out your legs. And just observe your feeling of yourself. That movement of your lower abdomen. Your lower abdomen rises a little and falls a little. And that's reflecting the movement of your diaphragm. And we often find that as the lesson continues, that movement becomes clearer, more pronounced. Please slowly bend one knee, stand your foot, and bend your other knee and stand your foot. That's it. And now put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee. But this time, lengthen your right arm overhead on the floor. That's right. So your right arm is lying comfortably on the floor, and tilt your left knee to the right as you lengthen your right arm slowly. That's right. Just what's easy, which is, it's not as easy as lengthening the left arm. There's a biomechanical, muscular reason for that. But still, just do what's easy, and you feel you can lengthen the right arm a bit. And you can allow your head to turn to the right. That's it. Again, feel where you can soften your chest, maybe your tongue, your eyes. That's it. Good. And bring your right arm down. Keep the outside of your right ankle on your left knee, and just tilt your left knee to the right slowly, and see how is that compared to when we started. That's right. Just slowly. Do you feel a difference? Does something feel smoother or lighter? All right. Stand your right foot on the floor. Put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. Lengthen your left arm on the floor somewhere near your head. That's right. Not right against your head, just where it's comfortable. And where your whole arm is lying on the floor, including your elbow. And now slowly tilt your right knee to the left and lengthen your left arm. That's it. Just slowly. Still exhaling as we do the movement. Why exhaling? Because when we exhale, our chest is able to be more supple, more pliable. And that, of course, helps your pelvis to be able to turn, to tilt. Good. And you only need to lengthen the left arm a small amount, only what's easy. That's it. Excellent. And now bring your left arm down, leave your knee where it is, your ankle, and now tilt your right knee to the left and just observe. That's it. As you exhale, all right, let's rest for a moment. You can stretch out your legs, but we rest not so much because we're fatigued from the movements, but just to potentiate the ability of our brain to learn. There's lots of studies showing how important rests are in the learning process and how it influences the neurotransmitters involved with learning. And feel the contact of your lower back with the floor. That's it. And that movement of your lower abdomen. And now slowly you bend one knee, stand the foot, and then bend the other knee and stand the foot. That's right. And now bring both arms up above, but just where they're comfortable, only where they're comfortable. And if one arm is hard for you to bring up, you just bring it to where you can easily up the floor. In other words, every lesson can be adapted for you. You don't need to do what you think someone else is doing, or you see a person on the screen, you think you need to do it their way. And now put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee. You'll see you will improve in spite of yourself. Whatever limitations you have, that only makes the improvement easier to emerge, easier to come about. And now slowly, you very gently just make the gesture of lengthening both arms as you tilt your left knee to the right. Just the gesture. In other words, you feel, oh, my elbow gets a little straighter. That's all you need. Because just that little gesture of your elbows getting straighter lengthens your spine upwards. And of course, your left knee tilting to the right is elongating your spine downwards. And so doing those two movements together opens up your spine. It increases the distance between your vertebrae. That's it. That's right. Of course, it's a little easier if you allow your head to turn to the right. And I would propose that if you allow your head to turn to the right a few times, it'll begin to happen spontaneously. Why? Because your brain is interested in the improvement of you. All right. Just slowly take your time and bring both arms down. Stand your right foot on the floor. That's right. Just feel if there's some sensory distinction, kinesthetic distinction you can make between the left side of yourself and the right side of yourself. Put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. Bring both arms up. That's right. And go ahead and slowly, only what's easy, tilt your right knee to the left. You'll see the improvement will happen. The improvement will happen so easily and so simply because the improvement is not dependent on stretching or working a muscle or making the muscle stronger. That's right. The improvement is dependent simply on using movement to communicate with the learning centers of your brain. Remember, you only need to elongate your arms a tiny bit, and you can allow your head to turn to the left. See if maybe having your mouth open a little bit makes the movement easier. In other words, that's it. That opening your mouth a little bit maybe makes something different in your lower back. It does. All right. Please rest. And again, just take a moment. Observe the contact of your spine with the floor now compared to when we began. Maybe your neck feels longer. Maybe the pressure of the back of your head on the floor is more even or symmetrical. Now, please bend your knees and roll to your side and come to sitting in such a way that you can see your screen. And what I would like you to do is you're going to see my trusted aide-de-camp, Anastasia, and myself, and I'm going to tell you what we're going to do next, but I would like you to see it, which is I'd like you to bring your hands to the side of your head so that all four fingers are in front of your ears, okay? So it's just very softly. You don't press, you don't squeeze. And then bring your thumbs under the bones in the back of your head are called your occipital bones, the back of your head. And I would like you to put your thumbs under your occipital bones. Okay, so your elbows will be more or less in front of you. Your fingers are pointed more or less upwards, not backwards, but upwards. And your thumbs are under, well, your occipital ridge, so that you actually feel that you're under the right occipital bone and the left. Okay, so please just keep that in mind. If you want to, you can, again, your elbows are not out to the side. Your elbows are more or less in front of you. Let's see you from the front, Anastasia. That's it. Okay, so not absolutely in front of you, not together, but they are more or less in front of you at, oh, you could say 15 or 20 degrees. And then your thumbs are, and your fingers are not pointed backwards. Your fingers are pointed upwards toward the ceiling. Good. Okay, please lie on your back again. Put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee, as we've been doing, and hold your head in the way that you just saw Anastasia doing. Okay, so you're holding your head. And the idea is you're not so much going to pull your head upwards. You're going to add just the tiniest bit of resistance as your left knee tilts to the right to prevent your head from following. That's right. So you create a little bit of, dare I say, traction, I suppose. I don't like that word so much, but you inhibit, I like that word better. You inhibit the movement of your head following the tilting of your left knee. So your head is going, if anything, slightly upwards, maybe a 36th of an inch, a millimeter, and the pulling of your head up is very small. Your hands stay soft, and really, and you feel that your chin neither gets pulled down or forward. You understand? Your chin, your hands pull on your head so slightly that there's no distortion in the orientation of your head. That's of critical importance, that you don't pull your chin down or up, but you keep your chin neutral, as if you wanted to lengthen the top of your head as the width of a piece of paper. You wanted to lengthen your head upwards the width of a piece of paper. That's right. Good. And you allow your left knee to tilt to the right as you exhale. And internally, visually, you can imagine that your head is moving away from your neck. Your head is moving away from the cervical vertebra, the first cervical vertebra and the second cervical vertebra, as your neck is, the vertebra of your neck are pulled down. The vertebrae of your neck are pulled down as your head moves up. And relax your mouth, your eyes, your jaw. Good. Now, bring your hands down, your arms down, stand your right foot on the floor, and just appreciate for a moment the feeling, the sensation of one side of your neck compared to the other, of the back of your neck. And put the outside of your left ankle on your right knee. That's it. Hold your head as we were doing with your thumbs under the occipital bones and your other four fingers in front of your ear, soft, gentle. And again, the idea is that you are creating a very, 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 very slight movement of the top of your head up without your chin moving down or forward. And as you tilt your right knee to the left. So you're not allowing your head to be pulled down as it was in all the other movements that we did. You could have measured that your head was being pulled down. Even when we lengthened the arms, your chin was declining as your knee went to the left or to the right. That's it. So you're pulling your head ever so slightly, but still we need a verb for describing what we're doing. So you're pulling your head without really pulling your head up as your spine is pulled down, so that you feel right there in your neck that your head is going away from the vertebra of your neck. And rest again. Is something different in the contact of your spine with the floor? And the feeling of the right side of your neck? And did that movement of your head change anything in the movement of your lower abdomen? Bend one knee and then bend the other. Put the outside of your right ankle on your left knee. That's it. Turn your head a little bit to the left. That's it. Turn your head a little bit to the left. Take your head as we were just doing. And now, as your left knee tilts to the right, your head remains to the left as you elongate it you create that little bit of upward movement. Again, if somebody were to have their finger on the top of your head, they would feel that the top of your head moves, a little closer to their finger. But that's it. So your head is a little bit to the left. Maybe if you want to be precise about it, it's 20 degrees to the left. And from there, you elongate. That's right. So that's right. Your left knee tilting is pulling your spine down, and you are adding a counterpoint to that. Beautiful. Switch your legs and turn your head to the right. So in the opposite direction of the direction that your right knee is going to tilt. That's it. So your right knee is going to tilt to the left. And so your head is turned about 20 degrees, 30 degrees to the right. Again, just relax your mouth. And as you exhale, you discreetly, gently, finely, delicately lengthen your head. Softly, gently. That's right. And you still are doing the movement in a mindful way. What does that mean? That means you're allowing your attention to move about yourself, to feel where can you do less? Where can you relax your stomach, your legs, your arms? That's right. Beautiful. Please come back. Rest for a moment. Again, observe the contact of your spine with the floor. And slowly take your head as we've been doing, bend one knee and bend the other knee, stand your feet. And now just slowly, very slowly, lengthen your head a little bit upwards and see if you can feel that lengthening in your lower back, in your pelvis. See if you can think of the top of your head getting a little longer, yeah, without lifting your chin or without declining your chin. That's right. Can you feel that your lower back tilts toward the floor and your pelvis tilts toward your head? That's it. Beautiful. Please roll to your side, come to sitting, and come to standing. And just don't move around. Don't go anywhere for just a minute or two. Your phone is still where you left it. And now just allow your head to come where it comes to spontaneously, and relax your stomach. And observe. Would you say that you feel taller or shorter? And would you say that the back of your head is more back or more forward, or your weight is more over your heels or less? And would you say, if we were to have measured, that your spine is longer or shorter? And now find that place where you were standing on the floor when you turned. That's right. And that's it. And just slowly, with as little as an intention as you had before, turn to the right and turn to the left and just observe. Is something easier? If you were to be a scientist and be interested in measuring before and after, Yes. Is something different? I'll tell you a very quick, funny story. When I was in graduate school in San Francisco, I wrote to Dr. Feldenkrais and I said, you know, I have access to these EMG machines and these machines and these things to measure joint angle and, you know, all the fancy stuff that a medical school would have. I wasn't in medical school, but I had access to this stuff in medical school. And he wrote back to me and he said, measure the height of people before the lesson and measure the height of people after the lesson. I was so disappointed, but you feel it. Feel now. Do you feel taller? Yeah. Are you taller? That's right. You are objectively taller. So what happened in that hour that I can see it, you can feel it, I feel it when I do a lesson? So this is what we'll be doing. The next 6 weeks, we'll be getting taller. The next 6 weeks, we'll be restoring our spine to its true length, its potential length. All right. So thank you very much, and good to be with you, and peace and health.